This is one of the greatest film openings of all time.
How did you get here?
They were chasing me, screaming.
It's a 10-minute scene that essentially acts as a self-contained short story, and while you might think this precedes an equally incredible film, well, that's not entirely true.
Alright, look guys, we gotta run, okay? Just stay low and stay fast, okay?
The film is 28 weeks later, the direct sequel to the critically acclaimed and revolutionary film 28 Days Later. And if you haven't seen the film, or just don't remember it, it takes place 6 months after its predecessor, as London is declared safe again by NATO and people start to repopulate it. But the virus gets out again, spreading even faster than before, reaching as far as mainland Europe.
We have an outbreak of the infection in the medical center. All units, safety's off.
But as for why the opening scene is remembered so fondly while the rest of the film isn't, is due in large part because this scene is the only one in the film directed by that of the original, Danny Boyle.
Obviously the first one was a big hit and it ended kind of in an impasse really.
There are no survivors. It's just us in here and them out there.
So what makes this opening so memorable? Well, to answer that, let's break it down step by step.
Who were chasing you?
My mom. My dad.
The scene opens on a quiet moment between Don and his wife Alice, shot intimately in close-up and medium close-up and lit only by candlelight, creating the illusion of a safe environment and bringing us directly into their space from the perspective of Don.
When he first described how he was going to do the film, it was this idea of this father figure, who the film begins through his eyes, if you like.
But after we learn that they're living with multiple other survivors and we begin to hear their perspectives, we understand just how fragile their ecosystem is.
It's been 5 days since your boyfriend ran out on us. If he's still breathing, which I doubt, it won't be the pasta he's interested in.
This is reinforced by the music, or lack of it up to this point. The focus has been solely on the survivors inside the house, which is why the music doesn't start until the outside world abruptly interrupts it with a knock at the door. It's in this way that the music begins to condition the audience. We know it doesn't play when everything is peaceful, so after they open the door to find the child standing there, the music cuts away again, letting the audience breathe as the characters are once again safe.
Where have you come from?
Sanford.
Sanford's upriver.
That is, until the infected arrive and begin attacking the house. But the music, camera, and editing don't change right away, because the threat is still external. They wait until one of the survivors in the house becomes infected, and their protective barrier is finally breached. This is the moment the camera's impact is truly felt, as we move from the slower and stationary shots in the beginning to a frantic and almost disorienting handheld shaky cam.
Enrique did a lot of handheld. I mean, he got beat up every day. Blood always on the camera, it's always covered in plastic and right in the thick of things.
It completely immerses the viewer into the scene. Just as the characters are dealing with the panic and disorientation of suddenly losing control, that same emotion is perfectly mirrored in the camera's movements. And the number of cuts also dramatically increases here, matching the pacing of the scene. And while rapid cuts can sometimes be confusing, the reason it works particularly well in this set piece is because there's a small number of characters confined to a location that viewers are familiar with. And scattered amongst the rapid close-ups are wider establishing shots that serve to orient us in the space. It's why this 5-second clip is so easy to follow, even though it contains 6 cuts. We see him fighting with a weapon, get a shot to identify that weapon, then establish where he is in the house, and finally where the threat is coming from. Compare that to this scene later in the film, which is all but impossible to follow. This all culminates in what is perhaps the true horror of the scene. Not the horde of infected breaking down the door, but the devastating human choice that Don must face. Die trying to save his wife, or leave her behind for a chance to live for their children.
Don! Help us!
In another film, Don might have made some heroic attempt to save his wife, but that's not where the horror of the scene comes from. It comes from the fact that in this reality, Don never really had a choice to begin with, because the infected made the choice for him. It's why the camera doesn't pay too much attention to the infected in the room and instead stays tight to the characters. There's nothing either can do to fix the situation. All they can do is come to the realization of the other's inevitable fate. It's small moments like this that truly highlight Boyle's intention to keep the series of films feeling grounded and intimate. There are no helicopters or soldiers with advanced weaponry like we get later in the film. It's simply an impossible decision influenced by the reality of the world they live in.
The main challenge for me was to make it real, to make this story real. If I put myself as audience watching the movie, I would love to see a movie that you could smell the characters and the environment, and you could feel that that story could happen really close to you.
The final stage of the opening now focuses solely on Don as he escapes the house and leaves behind his previously safe environment. And even without context, we immediately understand this simply by the lighting. Going forward, the scene is lit with bright natural light, which finishes the transition of the scene. It started with warm and comforting candlelight while they're safe, only to have the harsh outside light pierce into their environment as the infected break in as well, and ultimately leading to the entire scene being lit like this as their safety is completely destroyed. And now that it is destroyed and Don is thrust into the open, the camera shows us just how small he is now, switching to wide shots to show us the enormity of his surroundings as we track his escape to the boat. But it's not just simply the wider frame, it's also the composition. It perfectly utilizes the rule of thirds to push Don to the edge of the frame, as though the very boundary of the screen is chasing him too. And on occasion, it keeps tight to his face, simulating the tunnel vision and disorientation he's experiencing as he tries to escape certain death. The scene comes to an end after 10 minutes and 41 seconds, but it perfectly encapsulates the intimate, character-driven horror that Boyle does so well, which is unfortunately completely contrasted with the spectacle of the rest. I think it's why 28 Weeks Later has always felt forgettable to me. It lost what made the first film feel so memorable, focusing more on moments like this, instead of letting us live in more scenes like this. I suppose it's also why I enjoyed 28 Years Later so much. Sure, it has some spectacle of its own, but at the heart of the film lies the core to Boyle's approach: grounded and intimate moments between characters, something he managed to perfect in a 10-minute opening.
They're far, far away, and they're safe and sound.
I'm Luke.
It's confusing, you know? It's very hard for you to imagine, you know?
Thanks for watching.
Okay, guys, do what you want, but I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.